Thank the gentleman and Chair Reichert for yielding. Mr. Speaker and members, for the past 54 years we've celebrated National Police Week during the third week of May. And once again, thousands of officers and families of law enforcement are here in Washington this week to remember and honor those sacrifices that our officers who serve and protect our homes, our small businesses, and our families have provided every day. That's because, Mr. Speaker, every day our nation's police officers, 900,000 officers across this country, wear their uniforms with pride. And they go about their jobs without a second thought to the dangers that come with protecting others and then securing our community. Sadly, though, we are reminded too often of the dangers that these heroes face. It was just 3 days ago in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, that officers Benjamin Dean and LaCorey Tate were shot and killed while making a routine traffic stop. They were just 34 and 24 years old. Last July in Minnesota, Mendota Heights police officer Scott Patrick tragically lost his life in the line of duty. A 19-year veteran, Officer Patrick is remembered as a loving father of 2 children and somebody who was friendly, who was helpful, and was always looking to serve others. And this year he would have celebrated his 48th birthday. Instead of a party, though, his family spent the day in court for the murder trial of his killer. And it's not only law enforcement that put their lives on the line to protect and serve our community. Just last week, 44-year-old Kevin McRae, a 24-year veteran of the Washington, D.C. Fire Department, tragically lost his life when a high-rise building where he had been fighting for a fire for nearly an hour collapsed. And he leaves behind a wife and 3 young children. And for these public safety officers and these first responders that have lost their lives in the line of duty, we have a responsibility to ensure that those families and their families are taken care of. In fact, that's why the federal government and many state governments provide that public safety officer benefit to the dependents of those heroes that are killed in the line of duty. However, because current law is silent on whether state and federal survivor benefits are subject to federal income tax, there is a question of whether the IRS can collect tax on these benefits. And the last thing that these families need after losing a loved one is for the IRS to come knocking. And that's why I work with Senator Ayotte to introduce the Don't Tax Our Fallen Public Heroes Safety Act. It will ensure that families of fallen law enforcement officers and firefighters who die in the line of duty receive the benefits they were promised without a tax grab from the IRS. While the IRS has ruled back in 1977 that federal PSOB benefits should be treated just like workers' compensation and not subject to taxation, the IRS has refused to make a similar rule for state-based payments, and instead has forced families to go through a very burdensome private letter ruling. And clarifying current law will provide relief, it will provide certainty to surviving dependents, and it will guarantee that they're not forced to pay federal income tax on survivor benefits after their loved ones have given the ultimate sacrifice. I want to thank Sheriff Reichert, my colleague. I want to thank Congressman Pascrell for their bipartisan leadership of the Law Enforcement Caucus and standing up for this legislation and the other bills we've heard today on the floor. I also want to thank Senator Ayotte for her leadership in the Senate. It was this legislation that was a passion project of hers ever since the IRS went after one of her constituents' survivor benefits. And the bill is endorsed by many different law enforcement organizations, the Fraternal Order of Police, the National Association of Police Organizations, the National Conference on Public Employee Retirement Systems, the National Troopers Coalition, the Sergeants Benevolent Association, the International Union of Police Associations, the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, and the Major County Sheriff's Association. So, Mr. Speaker, I'll close by just asking my colleagues to support this legislation for the families of those police officers and firefighters and first responders who help keep us safe. I yield.